the expectations and the standards are. And so, it was good work for them to get the reps today. And, we'll see come game time if Aaron Jones can go or not.
Bill Huber.
Yeah, speaking of Aaron, Matt, I know there's a report from Tom Pelissero, from somebody, I suppose, sourcing and saying that Aaron was probably unlikely to play. Is that accurate?
We'll give him up to game time, and then we'll figure it out. So we'll see.
Mark Daniels.
Matt, I know it's hard to play by the rules when you have to, but can you just talk about the disappointment of losing Kamal and Jamal just on the contact tracing rules?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's why we've talked to our guys about just making sure they're keeping their distance and doing everything they can so they aren't deemed a high risk candidate, if you will, or whatever they call it, in terms of keeping space and wearing a mask and just doing everything the right way. And, it's unfortunate, but it is the situation, and it's one that we're dealing with and we're going to adjust to.
Ryan Wood.
Hey, Matt, in your conversations with Goody on what to do today at the deadline, was there only agreement or was there some disagreement amongst you two? Because there was at least one report on some disagreement today.
Yeah, I have no idea where anything like that would ever come from. We're in constant communication. We're on the same page, and there is no truth to that. I promise you that.
Greg Matzik.
Hi, Matt. Might be reading into this a little bit too much, but in a way, did Aaron Jones's injury and rehab schedule shield him from running back meetings that maybe would have lumped him into that same category as Jamal?
No, I don't believe so.
Mike Spofford.
Yeah, Matt, you talked about the fundamentals getting away from some guys with regard to run defense penalties and whatnot in the last game. How challenging is it to make strides in that area for your next game when all of the bulk of the preparation is mental rather than being able to get on the field?
Well, I think a lot of it is mental. It's knowing what your assignment is and then filling the correct hole. And so, we've thrown a lot at these guys over the last day. It's always tough to prepare on just, a couple days worth of work and cram it into just a few hours. So there's a lot of learning going on, but, a lot of times when you have these short weeks, you scale back what you're going to try to do so that your players can go out there, they can play fast, and we know it's going to take all 11. We got a lot of respect for San Francisco and what they're able to do on really in every phase. So we're going to have to be on top of our game, and we're going to have to bring our A game. We're going to have to bring a lot of energy and effort and just go out there and execute.
Steve McGargy.
Wondering, how has Dexter looked in practice, and how different is he now versus when y'all had him last year?
The one thing I'll tell you about Dexter Williams is he has worked his tail off, and he does that on a daily basis. He prepares as hard as anybody we have. So we've got a lot of confidence in his ability to go out there and perform at a high level.
Cam from the Mercury News.
Yeah, hey, Matt, this is Cam Inman of the San Jose Mercury News. I wanted to get your take on two 49ers offensive players that you're going to be facing for the first time. And that's Nick Mullins in place of Jimmy Garoppolo. And then Brandon Ayuk. And in terms of Ayuk, do you see any parallels with he and Devontae Adams?
Yeah, both those guys. I got a lot of respect for what I've seen over the last year and a half of Nick, his ability to go in there and play at a high level. And then Ayuk, I've only seen a handful of plays from him, but he is electric, and he's got that suddenness and just athletic ability that a guy like Devontae has. So he looks like he's a pretty darn good young player.
Aaron Nagler.
Coach, you've been open, and a lot has been written about your friendship with Robert and the matchups you guys had last year. Obviously, didn't go your way. Given the fact that you've got a number of guys down, you're piecing things together in your offensive backfield, do you kind of maybe deep down in your competitive nature kind of relish the possibility, the chance, the opportunity to go up against a good friend with a makeshift group and try and come out on top?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to come out on top of everybody, but certainly, they handled us pretty easily both times we played them last year, and every year is a new year, and they've had their fair share of adversity as well. I mean, they've lost a lot of key players, Nick Bosa, D4, the list goes on and on. So Richard Sherman, so they've had their fair share, and we know it's going to be. You can throw all that stuff out the window come Thursday night. I mean, it's going to be about the guys that we have out on the field and just our ability to go out there and execute, make the necessary adjustments when they need to be made, and go play ball.
Mike Clemens.
Matt, Adrian Amos on defense, we've spoken to him a lot. The other day he was talking about one of the receivers he was going to face, and he said, yeah, I liked him coming out of college. I mean, the more we talk to him, the more I'm really impressed by his prep. And when I think about King and Savage and Green, these guys, how have you guys thought of Adrian's been there for you the last 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, all those guys, you mentioned them. They're very, very intelligent guys that, do their research, they do their work, and that's why they're able to go out there and play at a high level. So Adrian is one of the leaders in that room, not only in that room, but on the defense, and I think, he's done an outstanding job.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, going back to going up against Kyle and your brother and Robert, how did that go for you last year in terms of, did you think about it much? I mean, we'd be asking you a ton of questions about that if you didn't have all this other stuff going on this week. Did you think you handled it okay last year? And has the COVID stuff and the trade deadline and the short week maybe been nice that you haven't had time to really think about that because you've had so much other stuff to deal with?
You know what? That's something in our preparation you never really think about. The only time you think about it is when you see them out in pregame. And, it is not always the best of feelings when you go up against guys that you're so close to, especially when you come out on the losing end. So we are all very, very competitive and definitely want to win. That's why we do what we do. And but I don't think that it doesn't really matter that there's a lot of other distractions, if you will, that are going on, and just in terms of everything that we're dealing with, and same with them. I mean, everybody in the league this year is dealing with adversity, and that's just the nature of 2020, it seems. So, it's the teams that handle this the best that are typically will have the best results, and that's all we're focused on. We're focused on our preparation and how we go out and handle our business on Thursday night.
Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Matt, do you give Christian Kirksey any possibility of playing on Thursday with Martin out? And then if he can't, can Burgess fill either one of those inside positions for you?
Yeah, we're always, those guys are working hard to prepare and get ready to play, and if they're ready to go, we'll let them go, and if not, we'll get the other guys, whether it's Burgess or whoever it may be, ready to fill a void.
Bill Huber.
When you turn on the film, Matt, you're watching a bunch of 49ers players who may not be on the field. So are you just basically looking at their scheme and not players so much, or is it different with their offense and the defense? Is it two different ways of going about it?
Yeah, I think you always kind of try to factor in both. Certainly there's a foundation there. They're very good at what they do, and again, in all 3 phases. It's not just offense or defense or special teams. It's the collective, and but at the same time, you also notice when a guy like Bosa is in there early in the season, and then he's not there later on. So that's something you take into account, or whoever it may be, Jimmy, Raheem Mostert. Again, they've got a long list of injuries that they're dealing with, but ultimately it's going to come down to the players that are on the field and our ability to go out and out execute the people that are out in front of us.
Ryan Wood.
Hey, Matt, now that this is the group that you're going to have presumably for the rest of the season on offense, is there anything schematically that you can do to kind of help protect Devontae from the double teams, or is that just something that he's going to have to combat throughout the season and just kind of do what he does.
Yeah, if that's what teams are going to do, we certainly always have contingency plans, whether it's trying to move him around to make it a little bit harder to do or whatever it may be. But we got a lot of confidence in the guys around him, and when their numbers are called, they've got to step up and make the plays.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, we talked to Kyle earlier, and he was talking about how close you guys are in terms of scheme philosophy, but then when you go your separate ways, things change based on personnel. I know you probably are spending more time looking at Robert's side of the ball, but do you think that your scheme and his scheme are still pretty similar from what you're able to see, or do you think you guys have diverged because of your personnel a lot?
No, I think the foundation's there, but you mentioned it. We have different personnel, and that's what you have to do in coaching. You have to adjust and make decisions in terms of how do you put your players in the best position to have success. And I think that's why there is some vast differences. I think when I look at a lot of their pass concepts, that's where I see the majority of it. I think a lot of the run game could be similar, but there's definitely some differences there.
Matt Schneidman.
Matt, what have you seen from Jace since those 2 drops he had in week 2? It seems like I don't know if it's more confident or he's doing something tactically different. Have you liked what you've seen from his improvement in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, absolutely. How couldn't you? He made plays, some big plays for us, since that time. And I think a lot of that has to do with the level of confidence that he's playing with. He knows what to do, and he's not hesitating. I think guys that go out there when you are a little bit hesitant or you're not confident, then sometimes mistakes will happen. You just got to trust your training and go out there and cut it loose.
Aaron Egler.
Coach, couldn't help but notice your star turn in the NFL Votes campaign last night during Monday Night Football.
I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it.
I was wondering if you utilized the tailgate village this morning to cast your vote, or how impressed you may have been by the fact that there were citizens of Green Bay lined up around the tailgate village to cast their votes.
Yeah, so I didn't vote today. I voted on Friday, and it was nice and convenient. It was very close to my house, so I was able to take care of that and, just encouraged our team and everybody around here to get out and cast their vote. So I'm happy to see that there was a large turnout today, and can't wait to see the results.
Jason Wilde.
Nagler's a former actor, so if you want any tips, he can help you with that as well. How close is Allen, you think? What have you seen from him the last couple of weeks of practice, and are you getting your hopes up there or not really?
Yeah, I think he's really close. I think he's done everything that we've asked him to do and the trainers have asked him to do. And, it's just a matter of when we feel like it's safe for him to go out there and then he'll be out there. I know he wants to be out there in the worst way, and, he wishes he was out there yesterday. But, we're going to take our time and be smart with him and make sure that he's able to go out there and play to the level that he's been able to do for the last year and a half.
Bill Huber.
What are the travel plans, Matt? Are they any different, A, to be different than last year, and B, because of COVID?
The travel plans, so last year we played on are you talking about when we played them or on our Thursday night game? Because last year...
I guess either one, yeah.